When you think of BMW, you probably think of powerful, high-performance engines, right? Well, think again. While BMW is celebrated for crafting some of the best engines in the world, not all of their creations have lived up to the hype. In fact, some of their engines have earned a reputation for being complete nightmares, both in terms of performance and reliability. From overheating and timing chain failures to expensive repairs that will make your wallet cry. These engines have caused more headaches than you could imagine. In this video, we're diving deep into the worst BMW engines ever built. Get ready for some BM bummers. BMW N54 3.0-liter twin-turbo inline-6. The BMW N54 3.0-liter twin-turbo inline-6 engine is a high-performance powerhouse that made waves in models like the 335i and 135i. It's no surprise that enthusiasts rave about its tuning potential and capable performance, but there's a darker side to this engine. One of the biggest issues owners face is the notorious high-pressure fuel pump, HPFP failure, which leads to rough idling, stalling, and poor acceleration. Even after multiple revisions, fuel injectors in early N54 engines had reliability issues, making repairs a constant need. These recurring problems have left a bitter taste for many owners, especially when considering the cost of fixing them. As if that wasn't enough, the N54 engine is infamous for a list of other costly issues, including turbocharger failure, oil leaks, and a weak cooling system. The cooling system is particularly problematic, with issues ranging from radiator leaks to the thermostat failures that cause the engine to overheat. Add to that carbon buildup in the intake valves, and you've got a recipe for a high-maintenance, fragile engine. Even though the N54 can hold a lot of power, 550 to 600 plus horsepower on stock internals, these issues make it a high-risk choice for long-term ownership. While the N54 remains a popular choice among tuners, the engine's reliability nightmare is a constant issue for owners. The cost of replacing parts like fuel pumps, injectors, and turbochargers adds up quickly, making it clear that despite its performance potential, the N54 has earned its spot as one of the worst BMW engines ever made. BMW S85 5.0-liter V10. The BMW S85 5.0-liter V10 engine is a beast, found in the BMW M5 and M6, delivering an exhilarating 500 horsepower and an intoxicating 8,250 RPM redline. On paper, the S85 was one of the most exciting engines BMW produced. It offered a unique driving experience with a sound that thrilled enthusiasts. However, this engine is infamous for its reliability issues, particularly rod-bearing failures. This issue, if not addressed, could lead to catastrophic engine failure, and repairing it requires a very expensive overhaul. Preventative maintenance is crucial, but even with that, the S85 remains a ticking time bomb for those who don't keep up with it. Another issue that plagued the S85 V10 was the throttle actuator failure. These actuators control the throttle and are vital for proper engine performance. When they fail, it leads to poor acceleration, jerky driving, and in some cases, the car not starting at all. Replacing the actuators isn't cheap either, with parts costing around $700 to $800 each, and there are two of them. Combine these issues with the SMG transmission, which had its own set of problems, and you've got a car that can easily turn into a money pit. The S85 V10 might be fun to drive and sounds incredible when it revs, but its high repair costs and complexity make it one of BMW's worst engines. For anyone considering an M5 or M6, it's important to factor in the cost of regular maintenance and the likelihood of major repair bills over time. This engine is definitely not for the faint of heart. BMW M20 B27 2.7-liter inline-6. The BMW M20 B27 2.7-liter inline-6 engine, which debuted in the early 1980s, was one of BMW's attempts to meet emission standards and increase fuel economy in the US market. Unfortunately, it ended up being one of BMW's biggest letdowns. Despite its larger displacement, the M20 B27 only produced 121 horsepower, which was a serious disappointment for a brand known for its performance engines. What made this engine even worse was its low redline of just 4,800 RPM, far below the 6,400 to 6,500 RPM range of other M20 engines in the same family. Not only was the M20 V27 underpowered, but it also suffered from poor performance dynamics. Even compared to its smaller 2.0-liter sibling, which produced the same amount of horsepower, the M20 V27 lacked the excitement BMW was known for. While it met the company's needs for emission standards and fuel economy, it failed to deliver on the performance front, the very thing BMW promised to its buyers. For those looking for the ultimate driving machine, the M20 V27 was a massive disappointment. Despite its failure to live up to expectations, the M20 V27 remained in production for a few years before being replaced. The lack of power and poor driving dynamics of the M20 V27 are what ultimately make it one of BMW's worst engines. For any enthusiast looking for true BMW driving pleasure, this engine was not the answer. BMW N62 4.8-liter V8. The BMW N62 4.8-liter V8 engine is one of the most complex and expensive engines BMW ever produced, and it's also one of their most problematic. Found in the BMW 7 Series and X5, the N62 was designed for luxury and power, but it was plagued with reliability issues from the start. The valve stem seals in particular were a major issue, and fixing them was costly, often requiring repairs in the $5,000 to $7,000 range. These frequent repairs are not only expensive but also inconvenient, leaving owners frustrated and looking for alternatives. Adding to the engine's issues, the coolant transfer pipes were prone to failure, which could lead to serious overheating problems. The N62's oil leaks and cooling system failures became so common that they earned it a bad reputation among owners. These issues made the N62 one of the most difficult BMW engines to work on, with labor costs running high. Even after the release of tools to reduce repair costs, the engine was still a major source of frustration for many owners. Ultimately, the N62 4.8-liter V8 didn't live up to its luxurious promise. Despite its high performance and smooth power delivery, it became more famous for its expensive repairs than its capability. BMW eventually moved away from this engine, but its legacy of high maintenance costs and reliability issues remains a cautionary tale for prospective buyers. BMW N63 4.4-liter V8 twin-turbo. The BMW N63 4.4-liter V8 twin-turbo engine is considered by many to be BMW's least reliable engine. Introduced in the late 2000s, it was meant to be the powerhouse in high-end models like the BMW 750i and X5, but it quickly became infamous for its oil consumption issues, timing chain failures, and even complete engine failure in some cases. The engine's design had major flaws, leading to a number of lawsuits and customer complaints. These problems were so severe that BMW had to issue a customer care package to address the ongoing issues. One of the major problems with the N63 was the timing chain, which could fail prematurely, causing catastrophic damage to the engine. The valve stem seals also gave owners major headaches, with oil leaks becoming common. As a result, this engine led to expensive repairs and massive frustration for those who own cars equipped with it. Despite the improvements in later versions of the N63, the original engine was a complete disaster for BMW. The N63 will go down in history as one of the worst BMW engines ever built, and it's a perfect example of a high-performance engine that was rushed to market without proper development. BMW may have fixed many of the issues with the TU variants, but the original N63 remains a cautionary tale of how not to design a high-performance engine. BMW N47 2.0-liter diesel engine. The BMW N47 2.0-liter diesel engine is another engine that made its way onto the list of problematic BMW engines. Produced from 2007 to 2014, the N47 engine was designed to offer excellent fuel efficiency and performance, but it quickly gained a reputation for reliability issues. One of the most significant problems with the N47 engine was its timing chain. Early models, especially those produced between 2007 and 2009, experienced premature wear on the timing chain, which could eventually lead to failure. When the timing chain failed, it caused serious engine cutouts, creating dangerous driving conditions. This issue led to multiple recalls and frustrated owners who had to pay steep repair bills to replace the timing chain, which was a very expensive repair. In addition to timing chain issues, the turbocharger wastegate system in the N47 was another significant weak point. The wastegate return spring in particular was prone to failure due to inadequate lubrication or coverage, causing the wastegate to stay open. This led to a loss of boost pressure, resulting in increased fuel consumption by as much as 50% in some cases. The turbo failure affected the performance and fuel efficiency of the vehicle, leading many drivers to seek repairs or replacements, often at a high cost. Though BMW did address this issue in later models with improved wastegate springs, the problem was still widespread and disappointing for those who owned earlier N47-equipped vehicles. Lastly, the EGR, exhaust gas recirculation system, in the N47 engine also caused problems. The engine's EGR cooler bypass valve had a vacuum hose that, if it deteriorated or cracked, caused issues with the system. This resulted in the EGR cooler being clogged with debris, and in the worst cases, the intake system could be damaged by debris being sucked in. This led to potential engine fires in extreme cases and required a large-scale recall in 2018, affecting over 1.6 million BMW vehicles globally. While these were serious problems, BMW took steps to rectify the issues over time, but the N47's reputation as a problematic engine lingers. Despite its initial promise, the N47 engine's reliability was compromised by multiple flaws, leaving a legacy of frustration and costly repairs for many owners. There you have it, the engines that tarnished BMW's otherwise stellar reputation for engineering excellence. Whether it's the N54 with its turbo issues or the disastrous N63, these engines have certainly earned their place on the worst of the worst list. BMW has certainly learned from their past mistakes, but for some owners, the damage is already done. Would you risk owning one of these engines, or would you stick with something more reliable? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out more engine videos. For more automotive insights, keep it locked here on Tire Marks.